I don't know
anything
too
kind of
much
weird, like, the speed of the peregrine falcon,
Yeah, we
stuff
might.
like that.
I might fare well in like children's Jeopardy. That's about it. So we'll
Okay,
get
well, we're
started.
going to get things
Kick us off.
underway. We're
Yeah.
so glad that you could be here. My name is Jason Ledlow, Trevor Nelson, HGA Fundraising. We're kind of flying solo on something, but I just wanted to start with just saying we appreciate you guys tuning in. We know you got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to throw some poll questions up just throughout this, just kind of helps us throughout this. One of the things that we wanted to talk about is a couple of things that we see, because everybody's swinging into event season, and we're fortunate that we get to talk to people all over the country. And it's really the excitement, the optimism seems to be really, really high right now with people doing things. And one of the things that we wanted to share that we've been sharing with clients just across the country is some things that they can do for their live event. We've had a lot of stuff talking about, how to build a committee, how to get more, front end money, how to raise that. And so while this may seem like it's a little self-serving, that's not our intent. Obviously we sell products and services and software and things like that, but that's not our intent. We want you guys just to have some things that you can put in your toolbox, especially coming out of last year, 2020, into 21, and have your events that you can really do some things at your event. So we're going to talk about event fundraising today, and two things, really specifically two things. Like I said, we do obviously provide service, provide these services and things, but that's not our intent. It's the ideas behind these strategies that you guys can raise some serious money. So really want that to be the focus today. And obviously Q&A, throw your questions up. We're here to answer those as we go along. And so I really want to just say thank you guys so much for being here. Trevor, you got anything to add to that?
I mean, just doubling down on what you just said. I mean, there's so many moving parts right now, right? We have had this idea to share this information for some time now, just because we can't ignore the success that a lot of organizations are having with these particular items, right? I mean, that's really, I always think it's best that, we always talk about listening to what the market's going to tell us, right? And I think it's just a good practice in general. The market is telling us that these items are very agreeable for so many reasons: price point, destination, what have you. But also just because, from the back end, I suppose, is that, the other side of the coin is that we're booking literally hundreds of travelers a week to these destinations. And so the proof's in the pudding, and we need to share it, and we need to show folks how they can utilize these items and capitalize with these items, and just raise their bottom line up, right? So that's the idea. That's the idea.
For sure. I'm getting something ready. I'm sorry, I was looking down for just a second. I wanted to get something ready that I think is going to be really good for here in just a little bit. But so we're going to just jump right into this. There are two things that we're going to talk about today. One is the Golden Ticket trifecta, and two is the Caribbean Craze, Cabo Caribbean Craze. And there are two things that you can add to any event. It doesn't matter whether it's live, virtual, or a hybrid. These work. Okay. We've seen them work. We know that work. We have clients that have had tremendous success. We'll give you some examples of those, and any questions that you have. We've just got these again. We do provide, product trips and stuff for these that you can use. But the main idea is the idea around them, and some best practices, some success and failures that we've seen that over the years that have happened with these. But they're really, really just good, solid things that you can use. And the first one, you've probably heard us talk about, which is the Golden Ticket. I'm going to pop my screen up here and let you guys see what this is, and maybe I'll get back in here. Oh, it's not popping in. Anyway, so the deal of the Golden Ticket trifecta is that there's three ways that you can raise money, get a sponsorship and underwriter for it, selling 100 tickets for $100 each, and selling an additional Golden Ticket as a live auction item. So just bear with me for just a second. We'll just run through these, and we've talked about this before, but it's just worth bearing out that it just works. And so I really want to just, oh, there it is. So as I go through this, what I want you to just to know is selling 100 tickets for $100. Raffles are great. They're done, but this is something that you can do. You can sell prior to the event. They don't have to be there. You know, you can use bidder numbers during your event. So basically, you know, you're saying, hey, it's, we've got this ticket, and, you know, while we're in the event, it's really fast. So the reason I say use your bidder number, it's a whole lot easier if I'm sitting there with a glass of wine talking to Trevor, and I am, you walk up and say, hey, would you guys like to buy this raffle? We've got something that's worth $5,000-$6,000, this experience, and we'd like you to do it. We're trying to raise $10,000 for our event here tonight. Well, if I've got to set that down, reach in my pocket, pull out a credit card, pull cash, it really slows things down. And what I want to be able to make sure that you guys do is to see this, is that it's just it's speed. It's all about speed. So if it takes 3 minutes and that's 300 minutes, but if I can do it in just a few seconds, it really makes it fast. Put the golden ticket on at top. So put that at the very top of your bidding software. Put it wherever you're doing, make that at the very top. It's easy for people to see. It's the first thing they see, and they can see it real easy. And then finally, you know, selling from the microphone. The reason we say sell it from the microphone is many times you have people will come up there and they'll say, you know, well, gosh, you know, we've sold 56 tickets. What do we do now? You know, are we just done? Oh, no. The first thing you want to do in the golden ticket is that's the first thing of your live auction. So right before you're going to pull that out, you just literally, your MC auctioneer is going to say, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the golden ticket. Hey, how many of you guys have the golden ticket? Raise your hands. All right. Those of you that don't have your golden ticket, raise your hands, because we've still got some to sell, and just hold your numbers up and we're going to get them. Number 121 takes them one, number 265, number 327. I personally sold 87 tickets in less than 10 minutes, raised $15,000 there because the ticket price was $150. It was a little different. And so just keep that in mind. Don't get so caught up. I mean, they really only sold 17 tickets prior to that. And we got them all sold. We sold 100 tickets, raised $15,000, and everybody was cheered and excited, and it worked out really well. So it's just a good strategy to get down to that. I've got a little video that I'm going to play. If I can make this thing work. Let's see if I can get this to happen here.
I recently utilized the HGA Fundraising Trifecta Golden Ticket Raffle for one of my nonprofit events. This was wildly successful and even net $8,000 before the event started. We sold every single ticket before the virtual event began. It was a huge success, and I definitely recommend to all.
So there you have it right there. And I just wanted to share that to let you see how somebody did it. They didn't do any of the other strategies. They didn't sell it at live auction. They didn't get a deal. They just added it at the very, you know, right before their event, and raised $8,000 to their bottom line. Donors want to participate. They want to do it. And it works real easy. So this is a great strategy that you can incorporate into your event. And so back to this. Sponsorship and underwriting. I cannot emphasize this enough. We recently had a client who bought two, not one, but two packages. Our particular golden ticket cost $19.95. They bought two. She got them underwritten for $4,000 a piece. She had two events coming up. She goes, just give me two. These are back to back. We're going to do two of them. So before she ever even started, she had netted $2,000 in profit. So even though the cost is $2,000, you can sell it. We've had people, you know, sponsor it for $5,000 and, you know, probably more we just didn't know about. Golden ticket at live auction. This is a really cool way to add some additional items to your event without adding a bunch of additional items. And so when I say that, you know, we sell the golden tickets, we get them all done. Here we just raised $10,000. Everybody cheer, yay! We draw the ticket out, and Joyce Knight's our winner. Congratulations, Joyce! Yay! Everybody else, and you know, we're cheering and everything, and you know, doing all that. And what happens is, whenever we do that, all of a sudden we've got you know, 99 people that bought tickets that probably somewhere subconsciously, it's like buying a lottery ticket. You know, I start spending that, you know, $500 million about thinking all the things that I would do. Well, they bought that ticket, they didn't get it, but maybe they were already thinking where they were going to go. They wanted to take that trip or experience, and why it was so exciting. And just the auctioneer just goes, ladies and gentlemen, I know some of you you really were ready to go on that great trip, and I'm sorry that you didn't win. We appreciate you helping us raise $10,000. I've got one more ticket I'd like to offer at auction. We're just going to sell another golden ticket. And they auction it off. It brings, you know, $3,500 to $5,500 every time. Sell that. And then you can sell two as a backup. So now I've sold two trips, and it just works. I mean, and they get, you know, choice of whatever it is you're doing, 3 or 4 items. And all of a sudden they've got that right. They've got it there. So it's just a really great strategy that you can do. And you can do this virtually, hybrid, whatever. How the math works: if you get sponsorship for $3,000, you sell 100 tickets for $100 each. That's $10,000. You sold 2 at live auction for $4,000 each. That's $8,000. So $21,000 gross dollars. The cost of the 3 tickets in our case is $19.95. So we'll just say $6,000. So net money, $15,000. This is a super simple thing, and it just works. Some best practices: don't try to sell more than 100 tickets. Now, I do want to come back to this real quick, because we have a client who's actually selling more than that. Well, they've had success. They've sold 200 tickets. They know they can. They know their crowd. So, you know, keep this to your crowd. But if you've not ever done one before, don't force it. Don't, you just take this in steps. And because I've seen more failures than successes selling more than 100 tickets, and it's supply and demand.
It's still a win. It's still when you sell 100 tickets, it's still a massive win too.
Yeah, right? It's a huge deal that you just did. So that's just really key. And if you say, well, I want to raise more money, you know, raise more money by raising the ticket price. It's easier to sell 100 tickets for $250 than it is to sell 250 tickets for $100.
Makes sense.
Just think about that. Always remember the math. How many times do I have to go and talk to somebody? How many do we have to sell? What do we have to go and do? It just, you know, is that simple.
Jason, I want to interrupt you. I want to interrupt you and ask a quick question about, I want your opinion. I think I know what your opinion is, but I want to put it out there so people hear it again. Do you recommend announcing the winner of the golden ticket before the live auction? Is there a
I do. Absolutely. And the reason that I do is because that's when you can sell additional tickets. That's the perfect time to do it before because you've got everybody's attention. And whenever I've got everybody's attention, if I haven't sold, even if you sold 95 tickets, you can still sell 5 more. That's $500 more that right before you do the drawing. And there's some coordination to do on that. I mean, you've got to have somebody writing the numbers down. You've got to have somebody writing the tickets and dropping them in the hopper. You know, if it's a virtual event, you can either, you know, and you want to have that deal, you can do that. There's also some, you know, there's a simple way to do it with a spreadsheet. You download the spreadsheet, do a random counter, look at the number. I mean, we can walk you through that if you need some help. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but it's definitely doable. And we've done it hundreds of times and seen it work with clients, because there's just, you know, it just works. So absolutely before the live auction, that gives you time, because selling those tickets from the microphone is how you're going to get to your 100. And guess what? Maybe you don't quite get there. Maybe you get to 92. You know, we had a client just recently. They sold 92. I think they got it underwritten, sold 92 tickets, and then they sold it once or twice at live auction.
That's a win.
It's super, super win. So,
hey, I want to backtrack real quick, because Tony did bring up something about loving the idea of sponsorship and underwriting the trips in general. We're backtracking the previous webinars, but it's still a really important piece. And it speaks to being creative, especially during the current landscape in fundraising. It's not beyond you to ask for those items to be underwritten or sponsored, better yet, right? If they're sponsored, once again, the organization doing the sponsoring gets the shine. They get the brand awareness. It's a good thing. And I just think it's an underutilized practice that we're just trying to you know, we want to say it 1,000 times out loud until it really, really sinks in, because it will have an impact on your organization if you can ask for those items, like the golden ticket or any item for that matter, to be underwritten, sponsored, what have you. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I want to just touch one more thing on that. You know, when you give people an opportunity to sponsor, other than buying a table, a lot of times they're going to take it. If me and my wife, we've been going with Trevor and his wife to an event. We sit at their table, and then, but we want to participate in some way. Well, I don't want to not sit with them. I want to sit with Trevor and Shelby. I want to hang out with them because that's what we do. But if I want to, become more participating, well, this gives me an opportunity to participate and not have to go fill a table. There's a lot of companies that might not even go to your event, but they will still underwrite that ticket. They'll still underwrite this opportunity because they do get a lot of stuff from it.
Right.
Robert brought up a question, and I'm going to just answer this. And his question was, coming out of COVID lockdown, how backed up are trips out of the country? And I'm going to speak to that real couple ways. There's almost zero trepidation for traveling out of the country for people that want to go. Okay. I recently went to Mexico for spring break with my family and 2 other families. We had zero issues. The only thing was we had to take a COVID test before we came back in. The resort facilitated it. It took 50 minutes from the time we walked, gate to gate to get it done. Very, very simple. And that's not an issue. There are countries that are restricted about going, but from our experience, what we're seeing, I'll give you an example. Second to go into the Caribbean or Cabo or something like that, one of these trips, our number one selling trip is Tuscany, Italy, and you can't even go. And we just had a conversation, Trevor, I'll let you speak to that, about where they're thinking. But the other thing I wanted to say about that, we just did one, and they drew the golden ticket, and they had they called the winner, and, it was kind of fun. And the auctioneer called the winner and said, hey, it was this judge. And she said, oh my gosh, I won. They said, where do you want to go? And she didn't even hesitate. She said, I want to go to Italy. Well, you can't even go to Italy right now. Yeah. But there was zero resistance on that because everybody sees the trend opening up. And there's no, the expiration that, we automatically give 2 years. It was one of our trips. We give 2 years. But if it has to be longer than that, we're giving them longer than that. We're not here to, knock anybody's trips down. So I hope that answers your question, Robert, and let you know that, we're not seeing any backup. The planes are all full.
Yeah, if Robert could embellish a little bit on how backed up trips are, I want to know what that means a little bit, just with regard to maybe capacity in the hotels, just so I can understand that question and dissect it a little bit more. I can definitely Jason and I can both provide more information about that. My opinion about Italy as well has been my opinion the entire time. Italy's not going anywhere. That's number one. Cabo and the Caribbean, I'm not to degrade those locations. They might not be someone's dream destination. Those are destinations that some families go to multiple times a year, right? Tuscany is a dream destination for people. Dream destinations are going to remain dream destinations, hopefully forevermore, right? That's the idea. And the people are exceptionally welcoming to our citizens and others throughout Europe as well. So many folks travel from Europe actually to Italy and are going right now. As a matter of fact, they giving you some peeling the curtain back a little bit about Italy. They fully expect a ton of European travelers into May, and especially like right around June 1. American citizens are in Italy right now. They have to quarantine for a specific amount of time. And we expect, as long as there's not any massive setbacks globally or what have you, or even there in Italy, we expect a ton of travelers in the fall. So we were just like forecasting October 1st, just as a target date, just so we can have something to look forward to. Once again, it's simply a forecast, but speaking to flexibility and expiration and all of that, we're exceptionally flexible, but it has been an eye opener once again. And the reason why we want to bring, these specific topics to the table is that we're just paying attention to how many of these items are being utilized at events. I guess shocking is not necessarily the word. I'm just encouraged that there's so many items from Italy that are being sold. And of course, so many travelers right now, like Jason said, the planes are full. We have literally hundreds of guests just that we book internally that are traveling. It is spring break and folks do want to travel, if that's their own, that's their own personal opinion and their own personal will, is if they want to travel. No one's forcing anyone to do that, obviously. But the proof is in the pudding, and there's a ton of folks going to those destinations right now. And it's a noticeable upward trajectory, and we're very encouraged by that. So,
hey, I've got a couple of questions real quick. I want to just hit real fast. Dawn, just to answer your question. Yes, we do have marketing materials for a golden ticket. So if you want to do that, we've got a full slate of materials for you to use, everything from the tickets to promotional materials, flyers, things like that explain it. So absolutely, we do have that. And then Jackie just mentioned, she said she was supposed to go to Italy in May of last year. It's moved to 2022, hopefully, but it is a dream trip of hers. So, we completely concur on that. So I don't know, is there, let's see, if there's any other questions here real quick.
I think that was it. And once again, if we need to embellish with Robert, I do know I'm very familiar with Ducks Unlimited and making that decision about international travel. And that's, sometimes those decisions are made and people don't want to, but sometimes when you're in a leadership position, obviously you have to make unpopular decisions. So we totally understand it. We're sensitive to it. It does make sense. We're coming out of an unforeseen time in travel, and that was the outcome. Those decisions, thankfully, they have a cycle, a life cycle, and we'll come out of this in a better spot. I hope that helps.
Okay. I'm going to hop to the next topic, the next one. So, and again, if you have any questions about this, we're absolutely happy to help you any way we can with the golden ticket. And even if you've got something else that you want to use, we have a client that we're doing some other stuff with, and they had this once in a lifetime trip to play golf with, oh my gosh, I just lost 85 Bears quarterback, McMahon. Jim McMahon, to play golf with him. It's a once in a lifetime deal. They're selling tickets for that for a golden ticket. It was an awesome deal. The beauty of that is that they can sell the tickets and get a great price for them, and they'll sell them all out. The downside is they can't sell it multiple times, but it's that once in a lifetime experience. So, these strategies they work. The next one I want to talk about is something that we have seen. I think a lot of nonprofits have used this, but I want to talk about and what we call is the Caribbean Craze, Cabo Craze. And this is just something that works. This is another way that you can add some money to your event, regardless of what kind of event it is, it works. And I'll give you some examples of how it is. But what the Caribbean and Cabo Craze is literally just a pass out trip that we're going to do at the end of the live auction. So this is going to be the very last item. There are some specific things though, the do's and don'ts that I'm going to tell you about because we have lots of success stories, but I can also tell you some fails. Amy Myers could share one that she told me about, and it's just, so I'll give you some ways to make sure you avoid that and do with that. So what that is you're going to add $5,000 to $10,000 to your next event. And I'll show you how this works, why it works. When you offer a vacation travel package that everyone can afford, you will open the wallets of more donors. This is a simple fact. There's only so many people in your room or your audience, your donor base that can afford to go spend that $10,000, $20,000, those big trips like that. There's just only so many of them. What we want to do is open up the opportunity to as many people as we possibly can that can afford this. And what you'll see is that leverage their vacation budget in addition to their giving budget. So let me give you an example of that. If I am out here, so, if I'm looking at my audience and I'm looking there, how many of them can afford a $10,000 trip? Maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10, 20. I don't know it depends on your donor base. How many of them can afford a $2,500 trip? Well, their giving budget may be $500. Okay. But their vacation budget could be significantly $2,500, $3,000, $4,000. Even in your mission drive, because I've had some people say, well, I'd rather them give that money to my cause, to our mission drive. Absolutely. Completely agree. However, I have seen it personally where people that won't give you $500 or $100 or $250 in the audience will be stimulated, will reach out there and buy a trip that they already probably were going to go on anyway. And so it's just a way for them. They gave, they make a donation, and you get to leverage that money. So it's not part of their giving, their donation budget. It is part of their vacation budget. And what that is, especially whenever you get new donors, again, back to the whole thing of, I came to Trevor's, I'm sitting with Trevor. He invited me to come to an event, and I'm there, and I don't have any tie to the organization. I'm just there. But I see that happening. I hear the mission. I hear what they're doing. And then I get this chance to buy a vacation that we were thinking about anyway. Sure, I'll buy it right then. And so it's just an easy way to do it. The reason the all-inclusive package, again, we sell these, this is what we do. So, but I don't want you to take this as just a commercial, because there's some other products out there that you could use with this, but why they work. More Americans go to the Caribbean and Cabo than any other international destination. And that's pretty broad statement, but I feel pretty confident. I talked to Trevor about it before I made that. And I said, don't you think that, I think that's probably true. And he said, yeah, I agree. Just we book so many of them. And the pricing structure allows you to generate more money per trip purchased. And when I say more money, I'm saying $1,000 for every trip sold. So if you get there and you offer it, and I'll give real specific about how we do this, because it's really, really critical that your auctioneers, MCs, whoever's going to be doing your event, do it correctly. And what I'm saying is, making $1,000 a trip. So a trip that would normally sell for $3,000 or $4,000, all of a sudden you're selling it 10 times for $2,500, and you're making $1,000 every time. Dramatically does that. It does a couple things. One, it lets you identify new donors, people that want to be into your donor base. We talk about growing the donor base, which is any organization's equity. That's your equity, your value of what you do, and is your donor base. So it allows you to identify people that maybe you didn't even realize had any kind of capacity. You didn't think they could afford, just even had, the ticket because they came with somebody else. All of a sudden you see that they do, and it gives you an opportunity to engage with them. And everybody knows what it is. It's just a really simple thing. Everyone knows what an all-inclusive is. If you say, hey, it's an all-inclusive, and, to do that. And I want Trevor to speak to this. Just, one of the things that we talk about, we book everything direct, HGA. We have all of our own relationships, or everything doing. We're not buying something, reselling it. And so, as Trevor likes to say, and I'm waiting for him to jump in here, we're able to, purchase these trips, these 4+ star trips at 3-star prices.
The organizations are, yes.
Yeah, the organization. Well, let me pass it on to the organization because of our ability to do that.
Yeah, and the all-inclusive resort stay is ubiquitous in so many American homes. That's the thing. Everyone understands, to the point where it's so funny. The other side of the coin is, folks are always asking us, like, for instance, in Maui or in certain U.S. destinations, do you have all-inclusive options there? Like, that's how common it is, right? And I'm thankful for it, quite frankly. What you said, expanding on what you said about identifying new donors, it allows more donors to get involved in the bidding process. That was the entire idea behind offering a product like this. It could be utilized hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times by organizations to great success. But everyone knows. I got to be honest, everyone really knows this product. So that's also really helpful when you're dictating these items to your donors, so they can understand it and they can quantify exactly, what it is, where they're going, and it's not, they're not going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, to figure it out.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is, yeah, and it fits every donor level. So we're talking about the bottom side, but also the top side. So, we have people that can afford, any vacation they want to. So are they necessarily looking for an all-inclusive to Cabo? Not really, because they own a house in Cabo.
Sure.
But they have family, they have kids, they've got how many times, I can't tell you how many times we talk to somebody goes, oh my gosh, I got this and I'm going to give it to my daughter, my daughter and future son-in-law on their honeymoon. Or I've got an employee, some employees. And so I bought 2 because I'm going to use these as gifts. Yeah. It really just gives an opportunity for them to continue giving. They do get something in return that can be used. And it's just a very broad based deal.
I think we're trying to make it easy for folks to say yes. That's the idea.
Absolutely.
Right? So.
Okay. Best practices. Do not combine this with anything else like airline tickets because it can't be duplicated easily. And I love when somebody has something like this, but this is the one thing at this trip you don't want to combine it to because you can only do it one time. Most of the time, if somebody says, hey, we're going to donate some points or we've got this ticket, I know we're going to make a great package. If you make it too big, it doesn't work because you can only sell it one time. And that's what you want to do. That's fine. But I'm just saying, just keep, you want something you can do multiple times. That's how the strategy works. The other thing that I would say, because we get this question a lot, can we get airfare? I can tell you, if you take 4 different people and you ask them about how they like to travel, they're going to give you 4 different answers.
Yeah.
There are some people that will fly in the baggage compartment if they can, because they want the cheapest flight they can. Somebody else has a lot of points. They're used to traveling. They use points. It's just what they want to do. 3, somebody says, hey, I want to fly first class. I only fly United. I only fly this certain thing. Everybody's different. Mm-hmm. And one of the things when you start, if we do have those products, but if we start combining flights and stuff like that, there's no telling how it works out. It just becomes more of a choke point and a problem because people just want to travel so different. Their expectations are.
I also think on a broad scale as well, if we add airfare, it's cost prohibitive. Right? For the item.
It is.
We're not throwing away the idea of selling it multiple times at a certain amount, but it's not going to be as digestible for a lot of folks. And yeah, it ends up complicating a lot just because of those personal preferences that folks have with their particular airline carrier, their points, their cards, the whole 9. So,
Shelly made a point. She said, we had a sponsor give us a $500 MasterCard, to combine with a trip. And that is true. You can do that. But I don't recommend to combine it with this trip because, as I'm going to say, if you're going to sell it 10 times, because they're not going to give you 10 MasterCards. So the first person that wins is going to get that value. The second person isn't. Great. But we're trying to get them to pay the same price. So we want it to be equitable across the spectrum to do that. Make sure that your auctioneer understands how the Craze works. Mm-hmm. We were talking to Amy Myers, just about this, and she was saying she had an auctioneer. She told him, hey, we want to sell this multiple times, and he sold it for $4,000. Well, that sounds like, he got a great price for it. He did, but he sold it once. So they couldn't make near the money if they'd have sold it, at 2,500. So to be real clear, and I'll give a demonstration, just a real quick demonstration of what I mean by that, because auctioneers their mindset is to get more money. It just is. It's just, and it's counterproductive. I mean, so especially if they're not like and this is not a knock against auctioneers because I've been one my whole adult life. I'm just saying you've got to really explain it, be very specific. If you guys have somebody who's, maybe in your local community who donates their service or who you use because, they know everybody, that's fantastic. Okay. Love that. But they think they're doing you a great job, but they missed an opportunity. We've literally seen these trips sold 10, 20, 30 times, 30 times. Well, I'm not going to ever say, well, that's what's going to happen in your event because I don't know. But you miss the opportunity to never even know. But if you sell it 5, 6, 7 times, that's $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, which is significantly more than making, $2,000 that you made, 2,500 that you did by selling it one time for 4,000. So that's
we're modestly expecting these items modestly. The Caribbean, Cabo, Tuscany, maybe 3 times in a small event. If the room's not the most motivated or it's a hybrid event or whatnot, we're kind of like trying to just go here's the keys. Here's a piece of the puzzle that we're just giving you and follow these steps. And we're modestly expecting these items to sell 3 times, 5 times. They certainly can be sold 30 times because we've seen it. But that's an outlier situation, right? But if they're sold 3 times each, that's a huge win, right? That's a massive win.
I want to just stop here. I appreciate you guys sticking with us all this time. Stay to the end. We're going to get you out of here by 1 o'clock. We normally say that at the very beginning. We're going to get you out of here by within the hour, wherever you happen to be, whatever time zone. And don't go away, because we are going to give away a trip that you can use for your next fundraiser. So I just want to make sure we tell you that. Here's the other thing that's really cool about this. You can send an email out the following day of your event to donors, and you will sell more trips that way.
Yep, that's great.
How many times we've had an organization send us the initial deal and said, oh my gosh, we sent that email out and somebody just responded, I need 3 more, I need 4 more. And it just gives you an opportunity, because maybe somebody just wasn't paying attention. They have buyer's remorse, not that they bought it, but that they missed it. They said, oh, why didn't you buy that? Well, I don't know. I just wasn't thinking. They get that email, bing, they just take it and away you go. So it's just another great way for you to be able to expand. Mm-hmm. We're going to get to all your questions here in just a second. I'm going to do a real quick, just a quick demonstration of how we like to see this done, or recommend it done, and how I've done it. Let's see here. So we just start off with a video like this. This is our video. Actually, this is the wrong one. It's 5 nights. We don't offer this product anymore.
That's all right.
Then we just lower the volume down and say, ladies and gentlemen, it's 5 nights, all inclusive, your choice, multiple events, 4-star plus resorts. And right here at the event, you're going to be able to get it. And ladies and gentlemen, this includes all drinks, taxes, non-motorized activities, these phenomenal places. There's like 35 resorts to choose from. You can go to Punta Cana, Cancun, Riviera Maya, 35 resorts. It's all right there. Let's have an auction. All right, here we go. Who give $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $25,000, $3,000, $3,500, $4,000 at 4,000. I would have been at 4,500 at 45. Hold on just a minute. Time out, ladies and gentlemen. I have Trevor Nelson at $4,000. Amy Myers was just trying to bid 4,500. We've got an awesome opportunity right here. Here's what we want to do. The organization wants to say thank you back to you for all your generosity, for being here tonight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to sell it to Trevor Nelson for $2,500. I'm going to sell it to Amy Myers for $2,500. And anybody else that wants to take this trip for $2,500 here tonight, we're going to sell it to you too. Thank you so much. Number 165 takes 1. Number 227. Number 305. Anybody else for $2,500, all inclusive for 2 right here. Number 87. Number 96. And that's how it works. It's just that simple. Again, your auctioneer gets to establish value, that this is people are willing to pay that, but then you back it down, take $1,000 a deal, and you can sit there and just away you go, because they're going to get a trip that's going to be this. And so I just wanted to give you a quick example of how it works. And like I said, explaining it back to, to your auctioneer, because what happens is if they're not used to doing it, they'll fall into old habits, because they've sold 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever, how many items, and they get to that last one, and it falls back into it unless they're, used to doing charity events. So, and we've got some great auctioneers that happen to be on here tonight. So today, I want to just hop into any questions and answer, cues and stuff. So, Dawn, what buy it now do you propose for this? This is a great question.
Virtually or in person? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am gonna do. There is a difference. So what I want to say is what we've seen, and I've got a couple of observations and just experience share for you guys. Virtual events are different. They are different. They are significantly harder than doing it live, but you still can sell it. So in the case, like I just did, where I'm auctioning it off, if I have, people bidding and they're bidding on it and they're clicking, I don't know if you're going to do in a live auction or if it's just a buy it now, but if they're clicking away, let's say that I got to the price of $2,300 and that's the most money I got bid. I'm going to do the same thing, even if I didn't get there. And it's, I had Trevor at 2,200 and, Amy was at 2,400 and Trevor was at 2,300. I'm probably going to back down and say, I'm going to sell it to both you guys for $2,300. And anybody else that would like to go. I'll give you an example of, we did this, it was a hybrid event and we sold 5 trips virtually on the virtual side, that very same thing. So you kind of let the market set itself Um,
Yeah.
if I were just doing a straight buy it now and I was just going to do an appeal, I would probably back the price down from 2,500, maybe 2,250, 2,150, something like that, just because it just might get more participation. You're not going to make quite as much money per transaction, but it's below that. It's just below, a little below that. And that's just experience share, you know. So I hope that helps you, Don.
Amanda
Amanda,
had a great question.
yeah. How many can you sell? If, you know,
We've seen 30, we've seen up to 30 of them sell in
Yeah.
one live event. I would love to push the envelope on that and see more. That'd be fantastic, right? But the room and the donor base is going to dictate that, obviously. But this was an item that was designed to literally sell thousands of times, because we have enough resorts and availabilities to substantiate that. That's the idea. So it is an item that is volume based. It is not the private island or private villa that can only be booked 50 weeks out of the year. It's the antithesis of that. Those items are great. I like to say that they're very top of the pyramid. We're talking about the base. So that allows everyone to get involved. Everyone.
Yeah, and I think it points out, and I'm going to talk about just our product real quick. I'm not going to talk about anything else or anybody else's stuff out there, but just what we book. This is not a 5-star hotel. Okay. This isn't the one and only. This is not, it's $10,000 a night. This isn't Turks and Caicos, that's $3,000 a night. It's Mexico, it's Punta Cana, but they are nice resorts. I'm talking, like I said, 4-star and above. You can go and look at them. We have about a 98% positive review rate. That's really good. And I can tell you the 2%, because we look at this stuff diligently, is the towels were thin.
It's okay.
I mean, there's not much we can do about that. I mean, they're just, those are experiences that it just is what it is.
But we're throwing ratings out there and stuff. We're throwing the thing of it is, the cool thing about it is that we're not charging 5-star prices.
That's right.
Neither is the organization. That's the whole point. This is really, it really is designed for a specific demographic. It just so happens it's the broadest demographic out there. So that's the lovely part, right? So
this is a really good question. Dawn asked, she said, should I offer an unlimited number? I probably wouldn't. Not on a virtual only. If it's a buy it only situation, I would offer 10.
For scarcity purposes, supply and demand. Absolutely.
Supply and demand. And, if you sell all 10 of them out, you can always add another 10 to it. So you can say, hey, we've sold 10. We've got the okay to do another 10. And it's just, psychology matters.
And then that also, there are no really rules, and I don't mean that in a flip way necessarily, Don, and everyone for that matter. But the virtual space has allowed everyone to get very creative. And the point that Jason brought up, which was dictated to us by clients and that he recommends to clients, is following up post-event. It allows you, because not everyone's in one room in a virtual setting, right? It allows you to pull the data from the event and contact folks afterwards. So I think that's another great way to go about it. And just be creative and just realize that there are no ceilings, so to speak. And it allows you to do that. So I think that's I think reiterating that point is very important.
Yeah. And like, thanks, Amy. Amy pointed out, Riviera Maya, she went there and it was absolutely amazing. Like I said, I just went there myself. I've had a fantastic time. There was 2 other families that went with us, our kids, and we had a great, and they were actually doing a major remodel. So even though they did that, the way that they took care of it, the way that they had everything, we didn't see anything, hear anything. It was just, everything was open. There was really, really great. Hey, Joseph has a great question. If we buy 10 trips, would you give us a discount? I want to tell you. So Joseph, the answer is no. But let me tell you why that answer is that way. Our margins are razor thin anyway. So there's no other additional discount to get. When you get a price from us, from HGA, you're already getting the very best price. I'm not going to tell you that you couldn't go on at any given time and maybe go get a better deal somewhere. But this is a trip. We're giving people 2 years to take this trip. So we do have, we have to do it, because there are some trips that we win on and some trips we lose on. And, and what I mean is that they cost more than what we actually charge the nonprofit. And so we run a balance there. And we've been doing it long enough, booked enough trips. So that's kind of the way it is. Everything we do is nonprofit pricing. And so you feel confident, number one, that your donors are going to get a great experience. They're not going to be, we go above and beyond our people, the staff. They are fantastic at taking care of clients, and almost to the point where, we have to say, okay, stop giving your mobile number out until you can take text, but that's just how far they go. To make sure that, that your donors are going to have an excellent experience from the time they start to the time they stop. So I hope that helps you understand.
We're right in the heart of spring break right now. And I think that there's a trend or a statement that we keep making, is that we're a boutique, licensed travel provider. We're not Expedia, so that's the reality there. Right. So, and when our staff is very, very hands-on with,
you don't have to think about it. Somebody mentioned a while ago, we become we start doing all this, we become the travel agent. That's true. When you start going and balancing that stuff, especially a lot of times with donated trips and things like that, it puts a lot of pressure on the nonprofit staff to deal with that. If you're the director or the executive director, the last thing that you want to get is a phone call saying, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of, Trevor. He's the one that, isn't he the one that donated that house or that, that trip, timeshare or something like that. And I can't get a hold of him. I can't get anything to work. What can I do? It just takes all that issues. Are these trips, can you give it to someone else? It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You cannot tell you how many times somebody buys one and they give it to, like I said, a relative,
a family member, a staff member of their company,
something like that happens all the time. So absolutely they're transferable. And the expiration, and when we say 2-year expiration, we are never going to cancel somebody's trip. Never. If you got down, things happen, life happens, you get to the 2-year mark and you say, gosh, can I go take my, I forgot, didn't do it. Can I still book it? We're going to book the trip for them.
Life happened before COVID. Life was happening before COVID. And we've been hit personally as a company with life happening. And we understand that people get sick and people lose jobs and they make these investments in an organization that they believe in that might be very, very close to home. And we're in no position to be the bearers of bad news. We want everyone to leave with a smile on their face because they are booking a trip and that's supposed to be a joyous occasion. So life was happening before COVID. We have an exceptional amount of flexibility. Once again, I like to say that we don't ask permission for these things because these are our products. So we get to control that. We put 24 months in writing and we've been, our hand has been forced in a positive way, and because we've been able to make people happy with extensions. But that has been happening since we've been in business, quite frankly. And COVID has, with the first time, other than with maybe like a hurricane or whatnot, a particular location where they were literally shut down for a few months, and we don't want to beat up donors or any of our guests for that matter because of it. So we offer the utmost flexibility when it comes to that, and we're proud of that. So,
hey, any more questions about this or the Golden Ticket? And again, I just want to reiterate, these are real strategies that will raise you more money. Like I said, if you use our products, that's fantastic. But even if you don't, it's still, it doesn't matter if your event's next week, it still works. It really works that fast. And, you can add these in. They work fantastic. It lets you get a lot more capacity and raise more net dollars. Other than a mission drive, there is nothing that I've found in 30 years of doing this that adds more net money to a bottom line of an event than doing a Golden Ticket and a Cabo Caribbean Craze. Those are the two things. Like I said, your live ask, obviously, I hope you raise, a lot more money from that, when you do an ask. But from the standpoint of doing that during the event, there's nothing I found, because not everybody is going to have something, have the capacity to go out there and sell a private island for $35,000, or to have, a master's trip that you can sell a couple of times for $26,000. That's fantastic if you do. But even there, these things they'll add to the bottom line. So, I hope this has been helpful for you guys. In that, doing that. If you guys have any more questions, whether this now or after, reach out to us, Jason at HGA Fundraising, Trevor at HGA Fundraising. We love to help do this stuff and help you, if you've got an idea. And even if you have something else that you want to do about the Golden Ticket,
happy to help.
We'll do it. Like I said, we've got somebody, they talk to us about it and they're not even using our product for that. So
we're a vessel. There's a lot coming in and we want to share it. It doesn't have to involve our products at all. And we're anxious to do that. So please take us up on that. We mean that wholeheartedly. I can't speak to that enough. And we wish there was more of it. And we wish there was more people that we could share the information with. And we're doing our very, very best to get this kind of these nuggets out there, right? That's the idea. So we're easy to read. So
any other questions before we
announce a winner? Before we announce a winner?
Hey, I've got it. I've already got it. So
I want you to announce the winner.
Last call. Drum roll is.
Yeah.
So Kathleen McCall Thompson.
All right.
You are the winner today. You're going to win a trip that you can use for your very next event to raise more money. And, congratulations to you. And thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to shoot out this recording. I'll just like I always do. We'll put a link out here and I'll shoot the slides and stuff I've got. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. We're here. We'll be back next week. So next Thursday. So put it on your calendar. We've got some great stuff and
tell a friend
Tell a friend. Yeah. This is something that we hope that you'll share with other organizations and, people that are doing this to help them raise more money because, we want to make the world a better place. And the way that we can do that is by helping you, the nonprofits, to fulfill your mission. So that's always what we do. So guys, thank you so much. And
thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Fred. Thanks for everyone.
Thank you all so much.
Thanks,
hey,
Jill.
And we're hopefully we're gonna get our I'm going to say our third stooge, but our dear friend Amy Myers back with us next week to get her input on this because she just is so knowledgeable. We're always so appreciative.
We need to bring the IQ up.
Yeah, we
open arms.
You guys have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you next week right here, HGA webinar series.
Thanks so much. See you all.